If the US economy were to truly collapse, who do you think would be the first to suffer? The answer might shock you. It's not the small local diners or independent eateries, it's the giants we all recognize. McDonald's, Starbucks, Subway, Taco Bell. These names that once symbolized the American dream are now struggling to survive day by day in an economy as fragile as thin ice. Imagine waking up one morning and walking past your usual Starbucks, only to see the glowing sign replaced by a for lease notice. McDonald's no longer serving that $1 breakfast. That would be a collapse. The collapse of American culture and your trust in it. And this isn't a matter of if, it's a question of when. Right now, we're going to expose the 10 biggest restaurant chains in America, those iconic brands that seemed untouchable but will be among the first to disappear when the US economy crashes. This list might leave you stunned. Subway. Think back, when was the last time you stepped into a Subway store? Maybe it was during a hectic day rushing between shifts, grabbing a quick, affordable sandwich to tide you over before clocking out. Subway used to be just that simple, familiar, affordable, and effective for millions of American workers. A long sandwich packed with veggies, light on the mayo, that was the healthy lunch many trusted for years. But by 2025, that sandwich is now just a memory. Subway is fading away from America. From a peak of over 27,000 stores in 2015, there are now fewer than 20,000 houders. Every week, more locations quietly shut their doors. No fanfare, just a for-lease sign and a few yellowing flyers. So what killed the sandwich empire? First, it was Subway itself. As Americans became more focused on fresh ingredients, clean food, and transparency, Subway stuck to its old formula: pre-packaged deli meats, plastic container veggies, and sauces packed with preservatives. The Eat Fresh slogan became a punchline on social media, and when trust disappears, so does loyalty. Second, it was the toll of the franchise model. Subway used to be seen as a path to prosperity, but thousands of small franchisees went bankrupt because of the brand itself. They were forced to buy overpriced ingredients, pay sky-high franchise fees, and bear the pressure of costly promotional campaigns. Some lost their entire life savings, all because they bought into a flawed dream. Third, the rise of a new generation. Today's younger crowd doesn't see Subway as cool or convenient anymore. They're flocking to places like Jersey Mike's or Firehouse Subs, newer chains with modern spaces, fast service, and smooth app interfaces. Subway, meanwhile, feels outdated, clunky, and uninspired, like a forgotten relic in the digital age. And let's not forget, Subway has been sold. The founding company is no longer at the helm. The new owners, a private equity firm, aren't promising a revival. They've only said they'll cut losses and optimize operations. That means thousands of small stores could be wiped out to boost short-term profits. If the economy truly collapses, Subway will be one of the first names to disappear. Not because it's too weak, but because it's lost its place in the hearts of Americans. That long sandwich, once the symbol of an affordable lunch of America's working class, may soon be folded up for good. McDonald's. For millions of working class Americans, McDonald's isn't just a restaurant. It's the last refuge for a hot meal in a long day. It's the familiar stop after a grueling shift. It's where a single dad can buy his kid a happy meal and see that rare smile after a week of struggles. But by 2025, even McDonald's isn't on their side anymore. A Big Mac could now set you back $7. A simple lunch combo easily exceeds $12 in urban areas. Let's ask directly how many people living on Social Security, welfare, or minimum wage can afford to eat McDonald's every week without worrying about gas money. The answer is not many anymore. The generation that built America with their hands, their sweat, and their years of dedication now finds itself turned away by the very symbol of the American dream for the working class. McDonald's used to be the last choice before settling for instant noodles. Now even McDonald's is out of reach, and the bitter part is how they justify it. McDonald's claims prices are rising because of operating costs, higher wages for employees, and more expensive ingredients. But have you seen any executives cutting their pay? Any CEOs passing on their bonuses? They still live in mansions while regular folks have to stretch every dollar just to get a side of fries, even their new $5 meal program. Try finding a location that still offers it. In many places, you can't even buy a sandwich for that price. Don't call it support, let's call it what it is, a gimmick. McDonald's isn't just raising prices. They're stripping away the last bit of stability, familiarity, and respect that working Americans had left. And if one day you drive past your familiar McDonald's only to see the lights off the doors closed and a for lease sign hanging in the window, don't be surprised. That's not the collapse of a brand. That's the end of a promise. A promise that in America, no matter how poor you were, you could always find a decent meal. It turns out that promise was just an illusion. ChickfilA. We once believed that some brands would never change. Chick-fil-A was one of them. The way employees always smiled, saying, "My pleasure," as they handed you your tray of food. The crispy, flavorful fried chicken, not greasy like the others. And the feeling you got walking into a Chick-fil-A, though it was just fast food, it felt like stepping into a place where you were respected. But do you feel it? The things that made Chick-fil-A special, they're slowly fading away. No loud announcements. No scandals. But little by little things are changing until one day you'll catch yourself wondering, is this really the Chick-fil-A I used to trust? Let's start with the prices. A chicken sandwich combo with fries can now run you $14 or $15, not including tax and tip. For that price, you could cook a decent meal at home for the whole family. Chick-fil-A used to be a step above fast food, but still affordable. Now even hardworking Americans have to think twice before stopping by. Then they quietly changed the menu, discontinued favorite items, tweaked the recipes. The fries now taste different, dry tough, lacking that signature flavor. The fried chicken is smaller, the breading thinner, and it's lost the richness that made the brand famous. Customers complained all over social media, but Chick-fil-A hardly responded. What were they busy with? Opening new locations. Opening them fast, one after another, while the quality of service continued to slip. It used to be that when you walked in, you were greeted and asked how your day was. Now in some places you have to order through a kiosk. No human interaction. No thank you. No friendly eyes behind the red uniform. Some might say Chick-fil-A is still better than the rest. Maybe that's true. But what people regret isn't that they've gotten worse. It's that they've broken their promise that promise used to be, no matter how old, poor, or rushed you were, you still deserved a good meal of fried chicken in a respectful space. But now, a Chick-fil-A in Jackson, Mississippi, closed its doors after over 30 years of business. No farewell. No announcements. One day the doors just didn't open anymore. And the people in that town, those who had been coming there their whole lives, were left with an empty space. If a brand once called the most trusted in America can change this way, then what can we still trust? If the economy continues to slide, Chick-fil-A might not be the first to disappear, but they will be the name that breaks our hearts the most because they were once the shining light in an industry obsessed with profit. That light is slowly dimming. Now Starbucks. There was a time when Starbucks wasn't about luxury. It was the place where people started their day, where you could take a few moments in the hustle and bustle, sip a hot coffee, and feel, if only for a brief moment, that everything was going to be okay. For many Americans over 50, Starbucks is tied to memories of a daughter studying by the window in her college years, or a father stopping in for a Pike Place before heading to his morning shift. It was once part of the rhythm of a more stable life, but now that's changing and not in a pleasant way. A medium latte at Starbucks now costs nearly $6, an iced cappuccino even more. A breakfast with coffee and a pastry, over $10 not including tax, with inflation eating away at wallets every day. Starbucks is no longer the convenient stop it once was. It's become a test of how much patience your wallet has. Starbucks once claimed they serve everyone, but today working people no longer seem to be part of that plan. They can't afford $6 just to wake up in the morning. They have to choose coffee or eggs for their kids' breakfast. And so Starbucks started losing customers. Sales dropped. Longtime stores, some more than 30 years old, closed down. Not because of lease expirations as they claimed, but because their loyal customers had left. And while consumers are tightening their belts, Starbucks fired over whopping 100 corporate employees to restructure. Stores cut back on menu items, changed procedures, and eliminated complicated offerings. But no one bothered to ask, why have the people who once saw Starbucks as a part of their lives stopped coming back? The answer is clear. Starbucks forgot who built them. It wasn't influencers. It wasn't the decor-obsessed crowd. It was hard-working Americans, early risers doing honest work who just wanted a hot, simple, comforting cup of coffee and to be treated like human beings. Now, as Starbucks becomes a symbol of the urban upper-middle-class elite, there's no longer room for us. That $5 cup of coffee now feels like a ticket to a world where the working class has been pushed out. If the economy really does collapse, Starbucks will be one of the first chains to fall. Not because the coffee's bad, but because they forgot why people loved them in the first place. Burger King. Do you remember the last time you ordered a Whopper? Maybe it was after a long shift, starving, stopping by Burger King for a quick dinner. The signature smoky flavor, the rich grilled meat, and prices that were easier on the wallet compared to the other fast food spots. For many working-class Americans, especially those over 50, Burger King was a solid, no-frills option. It wasn't pretending to be fancy or upscale, it was simply enough. But what about now? The stores are closing. The app keeps glitching. There's a shortage of staff. The regulars are nowhere to be seen. A once mighty empire, once neck and neck with McDonald's, is now clearly crumbling. And the reason is painfully obvious. Burger King didn't keep up with the times. Worse still, it stopped understanding who its customers are. When people in Florida and Georgia watched 75 local stores shutter due to franchisees going bankrupt, they didn't need news reports to tell them. They already knew Burger King was dying. One state at a time. Elsewhere, Burger King locations became ghost towns, old, dirty, lazy, like the company itself didn't care about existing anymore. Of course, Burger King has a revival plan. They say they'll modernize 85% of their stores. They say they'll improve the menu. But have you seen any changes yet? Or is it just empty promises to keep stock prices steady? The 50-plus crowd, the ones who raised their kids on hourly wages, the ones who drove cross-country with a hot burger in hand. They don't ask for much. They just want what Burger King used to do. Well, a decent meal, no tricks, no nonsense. But in recent years, even that's been disappearing. And the scariest part, no one is speaking up. No CEO is apologizing. No one is asking why a once royal brand has faded into obscurity so quickly. If the US economy truly plunges into a deep recession, Burger King won't need anyone to defeat it. It'll collapse on its own for having turned its back on the very people who put it on top. Maybe the reign of Burger King as king ended long ago, it's just no one said it out loud. Dunkin' back in the day, just $2 would get you a great coffee and a donut that'd fill you up until lunch. That wasn't a statement from an economist. It came from an old bus driver on his morning break sitting in front of a worn-out Dunkin' in Pennsylvania. He didn't speak with frustration, but with the tone of someone who once loved something simple only to watch it fade away. Dunkin' used to be that place. A quick stop for 5 minutes, then back on your way. No noise, no flash. Every Dunkin' store was like a part of the town, familiar like the post office or the gas station. But in the last few years, everything's changed so quickly that even its most loyal customers barely recognize what they once loved. The coffee's more expensive, the staff is thinner, and the smell of fresh donuts has vanished. They don't even call themselves Dunkin' Donuts anymore, almost like they think loyal donut lovers have become obsolete. The stores have been painted white, outfitted with LED lights, touch screens, and QR codes, but the warm morning greetings between customers and employees have disappeared. Now Dunkin' is targeting the younger crowd. Bright pink drinks, sweet toppings, colorful cups, and menu items that look like internet memes. What's left for the working class? A cluttered menu, rising prices, and the feeling that they're no longer welcome. And in the midst of an economic mess, Dunkin' is emptier than ever. No longer the go-to spot in the morning, it's now a place you walk past and choose somewhere else. Cheaper, more real. Of course, Dunkin' is still around, they're still making money, but ask the people who once considered it a part of their morning, they'll be honest. Dunkin' didn't die, but what made it special is long gone. And if America truly heads into a recession, Dunkin' could be the next chain to quietly close its stores. No noise, no warning. Just like how they silently faded from the hearts of the people who loved them the most. Pizza Hut. There are places that just stepping inside bring a flood of childhood memories. For many Americans over 50, Pizza Hut is one of those spots. It wasn't necessarily the best pizza in town, but it was where the whole family gathered around the red wooden table beneath the warm golden lights, sharing hot cheesy pizza slices, laughing so loud you could hear it down the block. But now those images are fading. From 2024 onwards, Pizza Hut has been closing locations all across the US, particularly in states like Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Just last summer, 19 stores suddenly shut their doors, leaving behind signs reading "permanently closed," leaving many longtime customers shocked. The reason isn't just declining sales, it's also the legal troubles with franchise partners. EYM Group, one of Pizza Hut's biggest partners, filed for bankruptcy in July 2024. Leading to the sale of 127 stores in states like Illinois, Indiana, and Georgia. Meanwhile, Yum! Brand's Q1 2025 financial report showed Pizza Hut's revenue had dropped by 4% compared to the same period last year, with operating income plummeting by 20%. Same-store sales in the US fell 5%, signaling a deeper erosion in consumer confidence. What's truly sad is that as Pizza Hut tries to modernize by shifting toward delivery and takeout models, it has lost the very thing that made it special: the in-store dining experience. Those red wooden tables, the Italian-style wall art, the soda cups with no ice, everything is now being replaced with smaller, more generic stores that lack any real personality. For older Americans, Pizza Hut was more than just a place to eat. It was a part of their memories, a part of the community. Losing these stores isn't just losing a dining option, it's losing a piece of the past. If the economy continues to struggle, and if Pizza Hut doesn't find a way to reconnect with its most loyal customers, then in the near future, we might only find Pizza Hut in old photos and nostalgic stories. Domino's. Can you believe it? Ordering a pizza delivered to your door can now cost you $25 to $30. It's not even a premium pizza with fancy toppings. It's just a regular pizza with taxes, delivery, fees, service charges, and even a mandatory tip. Domino's used to be a lifesaver for working-class families. After a long, tiring day, no time to cook, just call Domino's once or twice a week, convenient and affordable. But by 2025, that convenience and affordability has evaporated like smoke, leaving behind an expensive, bland, and increasingly indifferent service. Once the #1 pizza delivery empire in America, Domino's is now losing customers, not because their pizza is worse, but because they're no longer serving the people who made them great. Working people don't need a complicated app. They need a simple button to push a delivery driver who shows up on time, and a pizza that costs under $15. But instead, Domino's chose to chase technology, spending hundreds of millions on pizza delivery robots instead of investing in their people and quality. The result, older customers, their most loyal base, are being left behind, caught in a sea of apps, coupon codes that barely work, and tiny print that only the younger generation has the patience to read. Last year, Domino's closed over 120 stores in the US. They called it a restructuring. But the truth is, in areas with older populations and lower incomes, Domino's pulled out first. No fanfare, no goodbye. The most heartbreaking part is in small towns. A tiny town with only a few dinner options. When Domino's closes, it's the end of the only quick but decent meal people could grab after 9 p.m. And as the economy falters, Domino's continues to raise prices, cut staff, and push customers into the take it or leave it corner. But here's the real question. What will Domino's have left if the very people who once saved their sales are the ones turning their backs? Maybe they don't need a full-blown economic collapse. If Domino's keeps going down this path, their downfall is only a matter of time. Who would have thought that Wendys, once a proud chain boasting the slogan "Fresh Never Frozen," would now be shutting down locations across the US? In 2024 alone, Wendys announced the closure of 140 restaurants following the closure of 100 locations just in May of that year. These aren't just outdated stores. These were once familiar destinations for many American working-class families. So what's behind this? Sales in the US dropped by 2.8% in the first quarter of 2025, marking the first decline since Q2 of 2020. Net profits also fell by 6.7%, down to $39.2 million. These figures are a clear sign that Wendys is struggling to maintain its business amid rising costs and consumers tightening their wallets. Interestingly, Wendys is making a major push into technology, implementing AI for ordering systems and redesigning their restaurant layouts. But this move has left many loyal customers feeling abandoned, especially older patrons who aren't as comfortable with new tech. They just want a tasty burger, quick service, and affordable prices, things Wendys seems to be losing touch with. With multiple closures and declining sales, Wendys is at risk of losing its foothold in the fast food industry, unless they make timely and meaningful changes that align with the needs of their traditional customer base. Wendys could become a thing of the past, no longer the iconic American burger joint it once was. Taco Bell. Taco Bell used to be the place where with just $5 in your pocket, you could leave full and somewhat satisfied. For many working-class Americans, especially those over 50, Taco Bell was a late-night stop after a shift, a quick bite on the way to pick up the kids from school, or simply a place to get by during those empty wallet days. No one expected gourmet food. All that mattered was it was cheap, fast, and hot. But now even Taco Bell isn't the affordable option it used to be. A basic combo, a taco, a drink, and fries can now cost over $9. In states like California, you might pay $13 to $15 if you add a side. And don't think that's for dining in, because many Taco Bells have switched to a drive-thru only model to cut labor costs. No more tables, no more places to sit and relax. Just a window, cold, impersonal, and uninspired. What's worse is how Taco Bell has treated its most loyal customers. Instead of sticking to the classic affordable items, they've constantly restructured the menu, cutting beloved staples and replacing them with TikTok-inspired trends. that most people over 40 wouldn't even consider ordering. They don't ask what customers want. They chase what's trendy, focus solely on performance. And that's when Taco Bell started losing its roots. In an economy teetering on the edge of crisis, people need places that help them get by, not add to the burden. But Taco Bell is doing the opposite, raising prices, reducing service, and changing the very things that allowed it to survive through decades of challenges. Do you know what's the saddest part? There are thousands of small towns across America where Taco Bell is the only place still open past 10 p.m. It's where workers drive 30 miles just to grab a warm, late-night meal. And if these stores close too, America will have nowhere left for the working class to turn to. Taco Bell was once the last refuge, but if this trend continues, that name will soon fade into just a memory. We didn't make this video to spread doubt or stir division. We made it to face the truth head on that when the economy begins to falter, even the most solid icons can start to crumble. If even the big names like McDonald's, ChickfilA, and Dominos can't keep their promises to the working class, then the question is, who will stand with us when things get even tougher? Do you feel these changes happening right around you? The familiar stores growing increasingly foreign, simple meals turning into burdens, and the little things that once defined America slowly disappearing. Share your thoughts below. We want to hear the real stories from those who've witnessed this change firsthand. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Because here we talk about the things mainstream media often ignores. And maybe, just maybe, we can start building something better, something that values people more than profits. If this message hit home, subscribe for more. Share this video with someone who's felt the loss and leave a comment below. What store meant the most to you? This is the Collapse Report, where the truth gets personal.